What's up, YouTube? I'm here doing my prediction video for UFC 250. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Evan Dunham versus Herbert Burns. And to me, I think the Burns brothers are just looking really good. I think Herbert's got really good jiu-jitsu, and we're starting to see the striking come along. To me, Evan Dunham, even though I think he has the advantage in the wrestling, I think striking and jiu-jitsu, I give the slight edge to Burns in both, just because he's way younger and he's coming up. To me, I don't know why Evan Dunham's really trying to come back. He's been gone for almost a year, and he's only getting older, so I think Herbert is going to be the younger, more explosive fighter, and I think he might catch him and knock him out in the first round. So I got Herbert winning by first round KO. Next is Alonzo Menifield versus Devin Clark, and to me, I feel like other than wrestling, I think Alonzo's just way better everywhere. I think his overall grappling, I haven't really seen him get taken down, so I don't know. He might not be good at getting back up. I can't actually say that for sure, but he just looks so strong, and I know who he trains with. He trains with guys who are really good at and not getting taken down and getting back up. And I think that in terms of striking, Alonzo just has such a massive advantage. Unless his ground game is just absolute shit, which just because even though I've never seen him on his back, I've never seen someone get close to taking him down either. I think Alonzo's gonna stuff the takedowns and win by KO probably in the first round. Next is Jussier Formiga versus Alex Perez, and to me this fight's really tough just because I feel like striking wise it's pretty close. Alex definitely throws with higher volume. Overall grappling wise, I think Perez is the better wrestler, but I think Jussier is the better grappler. I think this one's a toss-up. It's really, really close. It's kind of like, can Alex's pressure and stronger wrestling edge him out the decision, or is Jussier going to catch him on the ground and submit him? I'm leaning towards Jussier just because I feel like Alex is a super strong hitter. And I think in terms of overall grappling, like I said, I give the edge to Formiga. I feel like if Formiga's ever in a position where he can submit him, he probably will. So I'm going with Formiga. I think he's going to win by submission, maybe in like the second round. Next is Charles Byrd versus Maki Pitoloto, and to me, the biggest thing in this fight, I think, is that Charles Byrd, I don't know how good he does the longer the fight goes. I haven't seen him go that long. I feel like he kind of does the same thing. He shoots really early, gets takedowns, and gets submissions really quick. I don't think Maki has the greatest gas tank, but he can kind of fight at the same pace, which isn't super high, but it's the same pace for 3 rounds. In his last fight, he was getting taken down a lot, and he still consistently worked back to his feet. I definitely think Maki's the better striker and heavier hitter of the two. It's just, can he avoid the early takedown barrage and submissions? And I think it's really close, but I'm just going with Maki. I prefer his chin and ability to stop takedowns and keep it on the feet, and at least keep working to get back up. Because to me, that's what this fight's going to be. It's going to be Charles consistently trying to take Maki down and Maki consistently trying to stuff it and get back up. And if Maki can keep it on the feet, I think he's the way better striker, and I think he's going to win by KO. So I got Maki winning by round 2 or 3 KO. Next is Cody Stamann versus Brian Kelleher, and realistically, Cody's probably going to dominate this fight, but I just have a feeling Kelleher is going to pull off the upset. I think the wrestling advantage Cody has is really big, but I think Kelleher is the heavier hitter and the better submission guy overall. You know, it's one of those things where Cody can definitely outpoint him and out-wrestle him. He does that to almost everybody he fights. But I just have this weird feeling Kelleher might pull off the upset with just the heavier hands and better submission game. So I got Kelleher winning by finish. But like I said, realistically, Cody's just going to outpoint him and out-wrestle him. I just have this weird feeling Kelleher is going to pull it off. Next is Ian Heinisch versus Gerald Meerschaert. And this is a fight where it's like, both these guys' striking is overall okay. Ian's probably a little bit better, but I wouldn't say it's a massive advantage. Ian's definitely the better wrestler, but Gerald's the better submission guy. So it's one of these weird things where it's kind of like whoever's just having the better night. I think Ian, you know, he'll definitely try to take this fight to the ground as often as he can. And then we're going to see some really good scrambles, and it's really tough. Like, there's a lot of really close fights on this card, but I'm leaning towards Gerald. I just prefer his submission game to Ian's wrestling game. And I think if Gerald's ever in a position where he can submit him, kind of like when Jussier is fighting Perez, he'll catch him. So I'm going with Gerald to win by submission. A lot of really strong wrestlers going up against a lot of guys who are also good wrestlers, but better at submission. So it's kind of like, who are you picking, the better wrestler or the better overall grappler? That's how a lot of these fights are on this whole card. Next is Alex Perez versus Chase Hooper, and to me, Chase Hooper, other than his jiu-jitsu, I think his striking game looks like real shit, in my honest opinion. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's a great wrestler. I think he has really good conditioning and really good jiu-jitsu, but I don't think he's going to be able to take Alex down, and I don't think he's going to be able to strike with him on the feet. I think that Chase Hooper is probably going to get lit up most of this fight. Like I said, I think Alex Caceres, he's not the greatest fighter ever, but I think his takedown defense and striking are just way better than Chase Hooper's ability to take it down and use his jiu-jitsu. So I think Alex Caceres, I don't know if he'll finish him. He doesn't have a lot of knockout wins, but I think Alex Caceres just wins all 3 rounds and wins a 30-27 decision. Next is Eddie Wineland versus Sean O'Malley, and to me, this could go either way. These two are just going to kickbox with each other the whole time, and it's kind of like who catches who first. You know, Sean's the younger guy, so he's probably going to have a little bit of speed. But I think Eddie's the bigger veteran, and also probably hits a little bit harder. Like I said, this one's really tough. Eddie hasn't fought in a while, but Sean, I know he didn't fight a while until he won his last fight, and that was really quick. I'm kind of up in the air on this one, but I'm leaning towards Eddie. I just like his experience over Sean's, youth. So I'm going towards Eddie to win by KO, probably in the first or second round. Next is Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin, and to me, the way Neil beats most people is he outconditions them. I've never seen Rocco get tired at 70. He can fight at whatever pace at 70. I think Rocco's the bigger hitter and the better submission guy overall. Neil's probably the better wrestler, but I don't think that's going to matter too much because I don't think it's a huge advantage. I think that eventually Rocco is going to catch Neil and knock him out or get him on the ground and win by submission. I just think overall he's the better fighter, so I'm going with Rocco to win by finish. Next is Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen, and to me, in terms of overall striking, Corey's a little bit better. In terms of the jiu-jitsu, it's even, but Aljamain's got a huge advantage in wrestling, in my opinion. I think Aljamain's going to be able to take Corey down whenever he wants and kind of control him. Corey's a good striker, but he's not like a one-punch knockout striker. He's more like a volume guy with decent power. And I feel like Aljamain's kind of the same. So I just think the biggest thing that this fight's going to come down to is the wrestling. And I think if Aljamain's just smart, he'll be able to control Corey for the 3 rounds and win by decision. Next is Raphael Assunção versus Cody Garbrandt. If this fight was like a few years ago, I'd pick Cody, no questions about it. But my biggest thing is he's been getting knocked out so much. It's like I don't know how well he can absorb shots anymore. And I do think Assunção can catch him. I think that, I don't think either of these guys are going to try to take the other one down. If that does happen, I think Assunção's got the advantage with his jiu-jitsu. I think this is going to be a boxing match, and Cody's probably going to outpoint him. My biggest fear is just that if he gets caught at any point in time with any big shot, I think Assunção's going to knock him out. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think that if Cody doesn't knock out Assunção or just outpoint him, I think Assunção just needs to land one decent shot, and he'll probably knock him out. That's just what I feel like is going to happen. Realistically, Cody probably will win this fight, but I just feel like Assunção is going to catch him and knock him out. So I'm going with Assunção to win by KO. Finally, we got Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer, and Felicia Spencer showed in her fight with Cyborg that she's tough and she can take a hit. But I just feel like Nunes is just too good with her takedown defense. I don't think Felicia's going to be able to take her to the ground. I think this is going to be a kickboxing match for as long as it lasts. But I think, kind of like Cyborg's last fight in Bellator, it's just one of those things where, Nunes is eventually just going to swarm on her and finish her. I think Nunes got a massive advantage in striking and overall wrestling. Felicia's only advantage is probably in the jiu-jitsu, and that's only if she's on top. Like, if Amanda's on top of her, I don't think that she'll have the same jiu-jitsu advantage. So I just think Amanda has way more ways to win this fight, and her takedown defense and striking are just way better. So I think Amanda's going to win by like 3rd or 4th round KO after beating her down for a while. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.